How to meditate. This may seem quite basic, but whether you've meditated for decades or whether you've never meditated at all and have no idea how to meditate, this video can be helpful. Also, whether or not you use a specific technique to meditate or prefer to meditate without a technique, this video can still be helpful. So what I want to do is give a few pointers that are general orientations that can help deepen meditation, that can help cross you over to the natural meditative state that's always here. And where the rubber meets the road is, in this video, I want to give you a taste of that. Because if I can't, if these pointers don't do that, don't deliver, then it's no value to you. So I will be giving some specific and practical guidelines, but I also want to give you a direct taste of what I'm pointing to. Now, the first thing I want to say about this direct taste is that if at any point during the video you feel naturally inclined to just let go of thoughts, to let go of beliefs, to let go of your orientation to what's happening right now, and just drift deeper into a meditative state, feel free to do so. That's the whole point. Don't worry about holding tightly to what I'm saying. Don't worry about processing or remembering what I'm saying. You can always come back and rewatch the video. But if you feel something deeper pulling you down or in, or you just feel reality dissolving, that's fine. Just let it happen. Just let go. That's what you're here for. So the first orientation, or the first suggestion, is along these lines. That meditation, by nature, is something that is already here. It's not something you're going to get to later. It's not something that's beyond you or beyond your understanding. If you're aware right now, if you're conscious, listening to this, you absolutely have access to a natural meditative state, because it's already the case. The fact that you're conscious, the mere fact that you're conscious, is proof enough that you have access to and can clarify the natural meditative state in your experience right now. So when the mind starts producing doubts and saying, oh, I don't know how to meditate, I don't know how to stop my thoughts, other people know how to meditate, but I just don't think I do, or I'm not spiritual, or I'm not Buddhist, just recognize those thoughts right now are proof that you're conscious. Those thoughts, those simple doubts, are just movements in consciousness right now. What you are as the consciousness itself, what you are as the conscious one listening, isn't changed by those doubts or thoughts. So recognizing that any thought, any doubt that appears here is immediate proof that the meditative experience or the meditative state is not only at hand, but is undeniable. So we don't wrestle with thoughts. We don't need to push or pull on thoughts. We don't need to try to get rid of thoughts. We don't need to judge whether a thought is true or untrue, including thoughts about meditation, thoughts about how we feel right now, thoughts about this state. What we're doing is we're disengaging the apparent need to wrestle with our own thoughts. Now, this can be misunderstood as eradicating thoughts, quieting the mind. You don't need to do any of that. Just notice that it's possible to not wrestle with thoughts at all. It's possible to recognize that any thought appearing is appearing in this conscious space right now. This conscious space that's seamless with you, the listener, you, the conscious one. And when you recognize that, then there's nothing really you need to do. There's nothing more to do. You don't need a technique to recognize this consciousness as it is, just like it is. It's just a simple acknowledgement. If anything, it's a stopping of wrestling with thoughts, stopping of grasping the next thought, the next thought, the next thought. So meditation is not as much about a change in thoughts as a change in relationship with thought. It's a change in what you feel like you need to do in regard to thought. From something, from believing, not believing, pushing, pulling, struggling, to nothing at all. Let it rest. Let the need to evaluate thoughts rest. Let the need to push or pull on thoughts rest. Let the need to understand thoughts rest. And again, this includes thoughts about your practice, your technique, meditation. This is often what trips people up, is this meta thought. They don't realize, because it feels like you, but it's the relationship with thought that feels like you, not the thought itself. And the thoughts about practice. Am I doing it right or wrong? Those are just thoughts. Don't engage. Just notice, oh, okay, that's just the mind moving a little bit. Those are waves inside of the ocean of consciousness. So that's number one. Number one is, don't regard thoughts as a problem. Don't regard thoughts as something you have to evaluate, understand, reject, calm down. Just see, a thought is just movements in consciousness. It's just a fluctuation. And when you see that, you can orient right to a thought, because a thought is proof that you are conscious, that there is consciousness now, here. And the more you're able to do this and just relax into this flow of consciousness, this flow of thoughts melding into consciousness, the more you start to realize that this is where you want to be. So number two is acknowledging that where you're instinctually inclined to go or to be is right here in and as consciousness. Not off into some other space, not off into an imagined idea about what meditation should be like, not into some memory of a mystical state you experienced, but right here. It's natural. We want to just be. We want to recognize, acknowledge, and just settle into being, pure consciousness. It's so simple. So number two is acknowledging that where we want to be is where we already are. Meaning, as this conscious experience, as this conscious space, without trying to get anywhere. And recognizing it's exquisitely simple. Once we've stopped pushing and pulling on thoughts, once we've stopped believing that we need to engage thoughts and ideas about techniques and practices, when we stop that belief that we have to engage in that way, then the interest, what we're interested in, is freed up to just settle back into this ocean of consciousness. Ocean meaning everything that's ever moved through your mind, every perception you've ever had is already contained here. You don't need to go out to it. That's why you want to come here. Here to consciousness, here to this pure being. It may feel like the experience of I am without being something. So acknowledging that this is where my interest actually lies. This purity, this simplicity, this undivided nature of being in consciousness. It's a natural meditative state. It's already here. That's the second pointer. And the third pointer is something I alluded to early in this video. And that is, you may feel yourself, or you may feel the room or the space you're in, or the thoughts start to just dissolve in a certain way. Now, I don't want you to look for this. This is a little bit tricky to talk about, because it's easy to sort of go back and miss step one and start to engage thoughts about, oh, when's it going to come? Is this it? Is this what he was talking about? Is this the dissolving, right? So if you're doing too much of that, pushing and pulling on thoughts, believing thoughts, engaging thoughts. Go back to step one. But once you're settled into this ocean of consciousness, this purity of consciousness that doesn't require thoughts. Thoughts can be here, but it doesn't require thoughts. The knowingness of just being here. From this place, don't even anticipate. Don't do anything. Just enjoy, because you want to be here. You want to enjoy this. It's naturally enjoyable. It's the essence of your experience of being, of you. So from here, if at any point you feel something just kind of dissolving away, melting away, even the world, the sounds, the structure of mind, the thoughts, any of it, all of it, it's okay, just let it go. So the third step is a sort of letting go, but hold that lightly. Sometimes it just comes upon you. It'll feel like, oh wow, everything's dissolving away. Might feel like it's pixelating. And my advice here is it's okay, just go. Any meditative technique, in my opinion, if properly utilized, should lead here at some point. It's a complete letting go. You're not even letting go. You've already let go when you stop pushing and pulling on thoughts, and you've stopped doing and recognized the underlying, all-encompassing being. Now from there, a certain letting go happens, but it's not even you doing it. It's just a natural process of sort of dissolution, dissolving. Might even feel like expansion into everything. But don't think about it. Just let it take you. So the third pointer is let yourself be taken when and if that occurs. Again, if you're anticipating, thinking about it, doubting yourself, go back to step one with this. Let me know how this goes for you.